friends, welcome back to the homestead and my kitchen. In today's video, it's a little sad. It is the last video of my challenge that I challenged myself the 1st of July, Just Can It, where I canned my freezer to make some room for things to go back into the freezer. And boy, I cannot wait to show you everything we have canned together this month. It makes my little heart just go beat, beat, beat. It's so amazing. So like I said, this is the last video, and today we're going to do pot roast in a jar. Now, honestly, pot roast is very nostalgic to me. We typically had that growing up almost every Sunday. If it wasn't pot roast, it was a whole chicken. It was some kind of big dinner with some vegetables. Some of my Downeaster friends call it a boiled dinner, and that's what my grandmother used to call it. And it's so homey, it's so comforting. On a cold Sunday, it is nice to know I will have this already made. So maybe for a few Sundays and, mom can relax and I won't have to, get up early, get everything going in the crock pot or the oven. I'm so excited, and I can smell all the onions and everything I cut right now, so I can smell that. And the onions are just picked just an hour ago from my garden, so they're really strong. So I thought, this is great. Let's do this pot roast in a jar. And the recipe is from the book I've been pretty much using this whole month for most of my recipes. The Pressure Canning for Beginners and Beyond by Angie Schneider. Great recipes. I don't typically like to recommend a book unless I know at least 5, depending on how thick. This book's not huge, like it's not that bad. But I want to be able to at least have 5, 10 maybe, that might be better, that I know I love, that I can recommend, and this book has that. So I will highly recommend this. It is on Amazon. I'll put a link down below to her book. It's great. And I can't share any links to her recipes because she doesn't share them on anywhere. I've looked. So unfortunately, you'll have to watch what I'm doing, and I will tell you what I'm going to put in it, but there's no link for me to share. So I'm going to give you the ingredients, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, because as usual, I am changing it just a teeny tiny bit. Nothing major, but I am changing it. So you need 2 cups of beef broth, 1 cup of red wine, 3-pound chuck roast cubed. Mine's not a chuck roast. I honestly can't remember what kind of roast it was, but it's a beef roast. A cup of chopped onions, 2 cups of peeled and sliced carrots, 3 cups of peeled and diced potatoes, 4 cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of dried thyme, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 4 bay leaves. Now this is what we're doing. Over on my pot there, or my stove, in my pot, I have 3 cups of beef broth that I brought to a boil, and I'm just letting it simmer now. I don't have red wine. We don't drink. I've never cooked with alcohol, so I use 3 cups of beef broth instead of just 2 cups of that and 1 cup of red wine. The other thing is I'm not adding pepper. We're not pepper friends. I will be adding a lot less salt than her recipe, because that's the one bad thing I find with her. It's not bad. It's just everyone has a personal preference of how salty they like things. We don't like things very salty. And I find canning, intensifies your salt. So I will be using less salt. And there was one other thing I think I changed. Oh, I'm adding more carrots versus potatoes because that's what we like. But that's it. Everything else is the same. And this is another easy recipe. The meat, you don't even have to cook first. We're gonna put that raw in jars. She recommends 4-quart jars. I have more than that ready because I know I usually get 1 or 2 more from her recipes sometimes. Sometimes I get less. But right now I have like 7 jars. I know I'm not gonna need 7, but I just happen to wash 7 because 7 were dirty. And everything is prepped, so this will be much quicker. And once everything is going in the canner, we will discuss everything we made together this month. So let's get going on pot roast in a jar. To start, each jar is going to get 3/4 of these cubed beef roast, 3/4 of a pound, sorry, of this cubed beef roast. And there's 1. So clearly, I end up getting a lot more than her recipe called for. I did have just a little bit over the 3 pounds roast. It wasn't that much more. Seriously, it was just a few ounces. And I got a lot more than 4 and I followed the recipe. So I don't know where she got 4 quarts from for this recipe. I really don't, because I am following everything to what she did. 3 pounds, like I said, it was just a few ounces, but I guess those ounces really added up. And I measured everything, so okay, oh well, we got 7. It's not something to complain about. It's just more food on our shelves, right? Okay, so now that we have the 3/4 pound of meat into the jar, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of onions to each jar. A 1/2 cup of carrots. It might actually end up being more than a 1/2 cup, but we'll start off with a 1/2 and see where that gets us, because like I said, I'm adding more carrots than potatoes. And then my potatoes that I cut up a while ago. It says to add 3/4 cups. Again, I'm only going to do about maybe 1/2 cup. 1 clove of garlic to each jar. I have more garlic than I need here because, one, we love garlic, but some of my cloves are tiny, so I'm just going to add 2 because some of them are really small. And this is garlic from our garden. So you get 2 garlic. And then we're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of dried thyme, which is basically a pinch, and that is from my garden that I dried just a couple of weeks ago. This is when you also will add your pepper if you're going to add pepper. And then, like I said, she is calling for 1/2 teaspoon. I am going to do, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon, which is about a pinch. And 1 bay leaf to each jar. 1. This is very, very similar to how I do make my pot roast when I slow cook it in a crock pot or slow cooker. So I am really happy with this recipe. Oh, we got a couple onions there. We're just going to put right into the jar. And then we are going to ladle our hot broth right over everything.
My wish is that you don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. I'm running, and you should too, and hit that subscribe button. I know what you've been asking yourself. How can I make a difference? I'm just one person.
I can make a difference, but I'm just one person.
Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you that it's free, quick, and easy. Share this video on your social media and make that difference today.
Both canning jars are going because I end up getting 7 quarts of pot roast in a jar. I still don't understand how just a few extra ounces gave me so much more. That's weird math. I promise you, it's only a few ounces more than 3 pounds. So I'm not sure how that happened. Maybe I cut my chunks up smaller. That might have been it. So it's nothing to worry about. It is 7 more quarts on our shelves for the winter. I am happy. I want to make sure, I hope I said 90 minutes. I thought I might have said 95, but it's 90 minutes for 1 quart at 10 pounds pressure, okay? And obviously we let them, after they depressurize on their own, and we crack the lid for 5-10 minutes, and then we remove them and put them on a canning mat. We let them sit here for at least 12 hours before we test the lids. I like to do 24, but at least 12. Okay, are you ready to see everything we've made this month? Obviously, this doesn't include the 7 quarts of pot roast in a jar that are in the canners right now. And at the end of this video, at some point tomorrow morning, before I get this all uploaded to you all, I will show that all the jars, including the 7 jars over here. But for now, okay, so starting over here, we got 7 quarts of taco soup. This is made with chicken. We got so much beef. So we got 7 pints of beef that is just plain beef, no no extra spices or anything. This is so I can turn it into what I want. So an ingredient, not necessarily a meal. And then this is definitely a meal. These are the 4 jars of pork tenderloin we did just a couple of days ago together. It smelled amazing while it was canning, by the way. Anxious to try that. That is a meal because if you remember, that had the spices and everything added to it. And then down here, we have four quarts of just pork. Most likely this will end up as pulled pork sandwiches or a pork, you know, just some pork dinner, whatever. But we got 4 of them, again, just ingredient, not necessarily a meal. And here's some meals. So we got 3 quarts of the taco beef. Really, really anxious. I don't know if I showed you that when it came out, but there it is. Really anxious to try this. If we like this, I'm going to make more of this because we like tacos. I like tacos even for lunch. I do a taco salad a lot for lunch. So 3 quarts of that, and then we've already used 1 little jar, okay, of our cranberry apple chutney, which was very good. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 half pints and 1/4 pint, or actually we had 2/4 pints, but like I said, we used 1 of cranberry apple chutney. That got a whole bag of apples from last year out of my freezer and 2 bags of cranberries out of my freezer. So yay, they're gone. To help keep those healthy, we have all these wonderful jars of elderberry syrup with, no, that's not one, sorry. That was one, that's the one. That one doesn't have any sweetener. That's one you have to add honey to. This is the one I made and it has organic cane sugar. We made this together. Sorry, I made this a while ago. So this has sweetener already in it, so this is ready to go, and hopefully we won't need it, but if we do, we're ready. We are ready for the cold and flu season, friends. Counting the 7 quarts of pot roast in a jar in the canners right now, we have 47 jars. 47 jars of food that we canned this month. I think that calls for a woohoo. Woohoo! That is amazing. I can't, you know, when you're doing it every couple of days, you don't really think it's a lot, but when you see it all and you add it up, it's a lot of food. And I'm not done. We may be done for Just Can It for July, but the Every Bit Counts challenge starts in just a few days, and it's gonna look a little bit different this year. I'll talk about more of that on the first day of the challenge. Needless to say, yeah, it's gonna be different this year, and I'm gonna have to do a few things different that I haven't had to do in a while. And I will talk about more of that on the day of the first video because some things haven't worked out. And that's all we'll say for now. So make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss any videos that are coming out. I will be posting a video every single day in August for the Every Bit Counts challenge that starts August 1st. And it's hosted by Jessica at 3 Rivers Homestead. So we'll be adding even more jars, Lord willing, to the pantry or more things in the freezer the whole month of August. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited to see all these videos. Thank you so much for following along with me while I did this challenge. Doing this challenge was not only fun, but it helped keep me motivated to make sure I stuck to my plan of canning my freezer. I roughly canned 25 pounds of meat this month from my freezer. That is a lot, and I can definitely see a difference in my freezer. I'm actually finding things now in my freezer. So again, what a wonderful just space to have, and to have all these on the shelf again. It just makes my heart go pitter patter. Again, thank you for following along. It meant a world to me that you all enjoyed this series, and I loved hearing about everything you all canned this month. I also hope this challenge with all these videos encouraged you to maybe go ahead and try some pressure canning. I've said this many, many times before, and I'm gonna say it probably many, many times again. Pressure canning is life-changing. It truly, truly is. I was intimidated by it for years. All I did was water bath cannon and just froze everything. And the last 4 years of pressure canning has just totally changed. It has just changed like how I'm feeding my family, how we're preserving food. And with the cost of food right now, when you can get something for a really good deal, and to be able to come home and turn that either into a meal in a jar or just meat to turn into a meal, I'm telling you, it is life-changing. It truly is. So I hope this gives you a little bit of encouragement to try pressure canning if you've been on the fence. I promise you, you will not regret it. It is the best thing I ever learned, and I'm mad at myself that I took so long to try it. I truly, truly am. So friends, until then, take care. God bless. We'll see you all very soon. A lot. Take care.